The chat is lively already. Stevie P, is the soundboard ready? Because I didn't have the soundboard last time. I had to improvise, but the soundboard is ready.
Ciao
Stevie P.
ragazzi, ciao Ale, come stai?
Ciao Presidente, il vero Presidente, come stai te? Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, grazie.
That answers my question. You got the nice snap back, as they say, these kids nowadays. Steve, are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go, guys.
Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Milan fans all over the world, with your hosts, Vinny T and Stevie P.
Benvenuti nella casa
Giro in area, si gira, sinistro, rete, gol capolavoro di Olivier Giroud.
Mignon with another magical save.
Mamma mia, Teo Hernandez, coast to coast, del numero 19.
Leao carica il mancino. Eccolo qua, Rafa Leao.
Il Milan è campione d'Italia.
Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast, episode 255, and unnecessary pressure, as you would put it, Stevie P, and still battling for first spot, Milan. Stevie P, Vinny T, Stevie, welcome back. You know what? Let's give a shout out to Liban Youssef. I think Liban Youssef has been here since day one, always commenting, always watching. Liban, shout out to you, buddy. Stevie P, you got the snap back on. Did they win the San Francisco 49ers?
No, they did not win. They lost. They're decimated by injuries. Remind you of another team?
Decimated by injuries. Okay, but did they play a team like Verona? Like the who did they play?
Almost. They played the Atlanta Falcons. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Guys, on a side note, before we get into the game, I just wanted to give a shout out to you know what, to the Milan Club Montreal members that show up every single game. Bizak, this is for you, buddy. It was 2:43, Steve. I was there by myself. I'm like, don't tell me nobody's showing up, right? Then a couple of guys showed up. We're about like 7, 8, and then Bizak showed up. He goes, "Est-ce que tu penses que je te laisse tout seul?" Bizak, he made sure that he went back to his regular spot over there. The old man wasn't there, Steve, so I don't have to get into a fight with him. But thank you to the whether it be Chicharos or the Milan Club Montreal members. We got Monza coming up. Hopefully Saturday. I'm going to be there noon. Whoever wants to show up, we're going to be there. Steve, do you have anything else in the housekeeping kind of stuff before we get into this game?
I want to thank Milan Club Boston for sending me this fantastic scarf, guys. Sorry, I'm a bit late with the photos. I'm going to put myself in my sexy gear and get you a picture on the Instagram with a nice personalized note, which I'm not going to show you guys. Great, always saying, always penne rigati. So their team penne rigati as well. I want to thank Mark, Nick, George, and everybody else at Milan Club Boston. Thank you very much for the scarf. It's going to end up in the back.
There we go. And you know what? To Milan Club Boston that took the time. And Presidente had forgotten. I hope that he sent the carrier pigeons over to Boston, Steve, with our Milan Club Montreal scarves. But didn't you love him, like with the Juventus game when he had 3-4 scarves on the side? He had to leave. Okay, Vince, check whoever wants to join the club. See if you can sell some. It's always business for Presidente, isn't it?
Always business.
Steve, let's talk about this game. You watched at home, correct? Did you watch with Gianfranco? Was he concentrated on the screen the way he was at the Juventus game?
No, Gianfranco was at the birthday party. I was able to watch this in some peace and quiet on my actual TV.
Oh, there we go. Did you watch on the Fubo or did you watch illegally?
No, I watched on Fubo.
All right, so you didn't have to watch like Shane in Kenya illegally, these kind of streams that he does. But Steve, it started off well. The 21st minutes, it seemed that we're playing good. And And I don't know where it went. And you called this unnecessary pressure. And I found that was perfect description to this game. Do you think it's because of ex-Milan legend Salvatore Bocchetti as a new coach of Verona? Do you think it was the mixture of a new coach, Verona being 18th place, playing away from home? Take me through your feelings of this game, because we can't say anything bad about the first 20 minutes because it seemed like, I remember Bizak looking at me, he's like, ça va être 2-0, 3-0. It just seemed like we were getting there. But all of a sudden, everything came crawling down. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yes. People might say in 6 months for time, people are going to look at the scorecard. Nobody's going to look at Milan played like shit. They're going to look at the 3 points. But there was nothing to write home about this other than taking away the 3 points. People saying a performance of champions. What say you?
This is not good enough for Milan. This is not good enough because we have too many injuries. We have these players that are, they're coming off the bench. They need to establish themselves. I look at someone like Adli. A lot of people were saying that he was bad. I didn't find him that bad. I find that he was okay. He did his job.
But he didn't. He didn't like. Did he convince Steve?
No, he didn't convince, but so did the usual starters didn't convince. I thought that Theo Hernandez was very sloppy. I didn't like Kalulu, Tomori, Gabia. I thought they were shaky for absolutely no reason. And you know what? I don't think Tonali stepped up to the plate, guys. This is Tonali's time to shine. With Benacer not on the pitch, he should have been the one who had to take Adli under his wing and show him the way. And everybody's gonna say, "Oh, he scored a goal and this and that," but it's just not enough. If we want to start comparing him to players like Barella and so on and so forth, or best midfielder in Serie A, he has to come up in games like this. And again, yes, the goal is going to win everybody over on the Twitterverse, but the overall product of the game was very bad.
Do you find, Steve, that okay? I will agree with you, Tonali before the goal, right? And people will, like you said, will think about the goal before his performance. But do you think he had to overcompensate? Because Krunic did not have one of his King Krunic, as we like to call him, did not have one of his better games. It just looked, I don't know, he just looked completely off Krunic in that position during
that's not his position. Again, we say that it's not his position. We keep on saying it over and over. I don't know, we laugh with Gio that says that Krunic and Pioli are sleeping together. That's why he keeps on starting him. But in reality, we're playing someone who is a super sub, Swiss Army knife style player in very important roles on against teams that we should beat. Verona, I was listening to the commentary on Fubu, and they rattled off the players that they sold, and I can't stand here and pretend to know the players that they replaced, but I do know the players that they sold. And Milan should not have been in this situation, right? So we missed a lot of chances in the first half. Yeah, we could say the first 20 minutes we played well. It's great. We'll have everybody coming on YouTube tomorrow and saying how negative I am. But if you watched the other games and imagine, even Napoli we'll talk about it after once we go around Serie A, but even Napoli conceding goals looked more comfortable in their win than we did against Verona, and that says a lot.
It was a frustrating game because even though I still had that belief that okay, somehow, some way we're gonna come out and win this game, and you can say, okay, champions are made of these kind of games, but we played bad, Steve. We really played bad against a team like Verona. Gabia has been doing good. And then if you look back at that own goal, Steve, I don't even know what he was trying to do with his feet. And that was completely on him. maybe I'm being overcritical.
That's not on him. It's impossible.
Steve, look at his feet. The way
That you cannot be. You have to be a defender, and you defend. They even in the commentary on Fubo TV, they asked the Italian defender that's been playing a long time. Do you conversate with your goalie? Do you want to let those shots through? Do you wanna try to block them? And you have to be a player. You cannot be half a player and half invisible in that type. It's an own goal. It's the same own goal that Leao scores. Like, what, you're gonna blame the defender?
No, hold on a second. The ball wasn't going in the first place.
Vince, he doesn't know that. Vince, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that.
If you look back at that play, it just looked like Gabbia had no business putting his foot there.
It's an own goal. It's exactly that. It's something that's gonna happen, and it's either you get in the way or you get out of the way. But you see, he doesn't know what he wants to do, and it just deflects off him and goes in the net. We're looking to blame people.
I'm not blaming him.
Well, you're blaming him. You're saying that the goal is his fault.
I'm just saying no. I didn't blame him. I'm saying I just found that he had no business the way he put his foot out there, and I recognize his talent, the way he's coming out, especially against Juventus. He played fantastic. Against Chelsea, he did his job. I just felt that our own goal, right, was preventable, where the one that we scored on them wasn't, because it was going in no matter what. If you look at the Verona goal, the way he positioned his feet, you look at his feet.
I think I disagree completely. Actually, I don't think that own goal of Verona is going in automatically. Leao puts himself completely out of any which way or form to cross or to shoot, and we get a good deflection, and that's just good luck. And then again, we get bad luck on the other way, which I don't blame Gabbia. I blame the midfield. Again, Tonali, Adli sleeping, not checking their man, not back checking lower in the box. And why is he there in the first place, Gunter, and able to shoot freely? Because Milan prances around in games like Verona, thinking that, okay, I'm the champion and the results will turn my way. And as we saw against Chelsea over 2 legs, Milan absolutely shit the bed and be completely outplayed. So this is the frustrating part about Milan and Milan Twitter, is that we have very short-term memory in terms of what happens to our team. Against Verona was a very poor display and a very lucky result that we'll take the 3 points and move on. But I'm not taking a lot of positives out of that, and there's major problems going forward if we can't figure out how to score goals.
We got Monza next week, then Champions League. I get it. We got 3 points. But when you have teams like Napoli, that just keep on getting the job done, and we're going to get into it when we talk about Serie A, but Steve, can I give a top of the match of Malik Chow, or Tiao, as you like to call him? He came in, and for me, fit in quite perfectly, saved those 2 clearances, blocked those shots. How did you see his performance? How about your top and flop from our friends at Milan Post? I always like the top and the flop. Did you see a big difference, even Rebic, with that pass to Tonali? I know I started with Origi, but who were your top and flops of the game?
Very hard to pick a top. Flop, I have to say I was just very disappointed in the performance of Sandro Tonali. I expected much more. And again, he does score a goal. He does score a goal and wins the 3 points, and that's fine. Again, we'll take
so
the
negative,
points.
Stevie. You're so negative.
No, the thing is that we keep on comparing, which I hate comparing. So let's take this Milan Twitter and swallow our pride and say this is the Sandro Tonali that we have right now, and let's look at the Sandro Tonali and how he can get better going forward. I've always said that he needs to be better and clinical in front of goal. He was on the goal, but he also missed 2-3 chances where he wasn't really ready for through balls.
But Steve, like Sandro Tonali as a midfielder, the positions he plays, you're not expecting him to be in the 6-yard box and taking these shots on goal. So I know that he missed a couple of shots. So where do you see his performance not up to your level or to your expectations?
I find he didn't control the midfield. I felt that he was all over the place certain times, and someone who starts day in and day out. And this is again for how important Tonali is to Milan. We saw without Benacer how important Benacer is to Milan because they both need each other. The problem is that they can't play every game. And when Benacer doesn't play, I expect Tonali to take over.
And he didn't.
And I did not see that. And again, especially with someone like Adli coming in, which if they've practiced and played together and continued, he should be guiding him around. And Adli looked a little bit lost at times. And it's for Tonali to, round them back in and make sure that they're on the same page and, protect the middle. I know they had Krunic sliding in a bit, so it was a bit messed up and it was a bit confusing. And Jamie hits it on the head in the comments. We want Tonali outside the box to recuperate, those stranded balls from the corner kicks, which we absolutely create nothing on.
Nothing.
And start burying those shots and hitting the net from the outside of the box. And he's 100% right. And we're lacking that. And we need that because we're not getting the goals that we're supposed to be getting from the strikers. We're getting them off pure raw talent from Leao, where it's just speed. And unfortunately, Verona didn't get the book that Chelsea had on Leao, which is if you don't make him run, he's pretty much useless. He needs the commentator on Fubu TV, and I'm gonna go back because I was able to actually pay attention with no kids in the house. He continuously said, "When is Verona gonna wake up and double Leao?" So we know that that's the book. The book is
when are they gonna figure him out, Steve? Like they figured out Suso after we remember when we used to talk about Suso's like, how come they haven't figured out this little step over? Is he just too fast? He's just
once he drops the shoulder, he's gone. There's not a lot of people that can stop him.
But there's a difference between him and this performance and the performance at Chelsea, where we both said I thought he did so much. And on the Chelsea game, Paulie, shout out to you, buddy. I know you couldn't make it tonight. Presidente, he was okay. I don't have to wear a Chelsea shirt. We're gonna wait until maybe we'll do a special podcast with Paulie. But thank you for coming over to the Chelsea game. But Steve, are they gonna figure out Leao? Or is he just too fast?
No. Once Leao drops the shoulder, he's pretty much gone. He's very dynamic. Congratulations to him. He finished 14th in the Ballon d'Or nominations, and congratulations to Karim the Dream Benzema, who won it after a career year. That's great. But back to Leao, I don't think he's stoppable. I think he's containable, and Chelsea proved that you can contain him. And once you contain him, Milan is in trouble because they have no other game breakers.
About the substitutions, Steve, did you see a big difference? I did not dislike Diaz the way he was playing. Got subbed out. We had Rebic. We had Origi. Looked like Origi was playing on the right. Then Thiago came. Like, what did you think about the actual? People are saying it's like the game. I know we have a Patreon question saying like it looks like the game completely changed once they came on. How did you feel about the changes?
Look, I think they had to be made.
Great at halftime, right? That they didn't wait.
Yeah, no, he had to change it up. It wasn't working the first half, obviously. Look, guys, the changes are fine against a team like Verona. But we saw once we start playing better competition in the Champions League, the depth that we have is just not good enough. And especially at the striker position, we're not going to get away with Giroud out, Rebic in a Champions League match. And we, a lot of fans on Twitter, where I agree, this has to be a position where they need to address. Right wing needs to be addressed. And you see where we were completely wrong, and I'll admit it myself. I didn't think Napoli was going to have this start.
And we both did.
Now that you see Napoli in Champions League, you have to tip your hat and say, you know what? They made some really good moves, some really smart depth moves like Raspadori and Simeone. And it's paying off for them because they didn't have Osimhen for a long time, and they were still scoring goals and still kept on scoring goals. Took care of their Champions League group. They can play with ease now, which makes the Campionato and Milan's qualification to the Champions League just that much more complicated. And I think that's a little bit frustrating for me because seeing that and seeing that we're the champions, we had to dictate the Mercato. We had to decide where we wanted to go and what we wanted to buy and where we needed to address. And I don't think we did that.
We got Monza coming up, right? People even mentioning Giroud's big miss over there because that would have completely changed the game if it would have been 2-0. But Monza's coming up, Steve. Champions League away at Zagreb, then coming back to Red Bull Salzburg. We shall see what goes on from there. And, you know, Monza, we like to joke around, and especially Jan, our intern, you know, they suck, whatever, but let's not take anything away from them. They did come up with a couple of points. It's not because we're playing at home that we should be taking them lightly. This Saturday at noon, we will, excuse me, I will be there at the Chicharos at noon. But Steve, this is kind of a game to like, hey, let's just put our foot down and come up with a big win. We're going to take a look at the stats after. Napoli still in first, 3 points behind. But this is a kind of game that just we need to show everybody, hey, okay, we fucked up on the last one. Here we are against Monza.
I think they just need to take care of business and and give Pioli the ability to manage some people's minutes and get some people some really good game time, especially someone like Origi. Because even against Verona, I saw, promising, what a great half. It looked like he hadn't run in about 20 years. And that's a big problem, guys, because we need guys like that we took a gamble on, especially for free, to start performing and start contributing to this Milan, because we're going to run into some problems, especially once we stop for 30 odd, some odd days for the World Cup and try to pick things up after that. A lot of things can change. A lot of momentum is gone. So right now I would stick to my philosophy is stay as close as possible to the top position as we can from here to the World Cup. And figure out how to qualify for Champions League. I'm going to be really disappointed and really pissed off and share some time with Gio and oh my God,
Fabio?
Gio and Fabio on Coast to Coast, drinking some sorrows away if we don't qualify, because 2 games against Chelsea really put me back down to earth, and I want us to qualify.
Speaking of Gio and Fabio, guys, check them out on Wednesday. It's we're like the Monday Night Raw. We're the flagship show, and they're like WWE Friday Night SmackDown. They got the Wednesday night show. They're getting the views, guys. Keep up the great work. We did have a sorry, Fabio. Steve, did you see Fabio on the group therapy session? He had the shower hair. He has a beautiful set of hair, Fabio. But guys, honestly, thank you for always watching. Thank you for the support all over the place. Steve, if you're watching Milan, right? And te la cacasot, you're frustrated. You're holding your cheeks in because you're shitting your pants. Thank God you have a man-made kind of boxers that, if you're sweating from your ass, it glides off. What if you're perspiring? You're perspiring. You need the soap bar. You need to wash all these sins away. But guys, in the comments, Man-Made, click on the link, check out their products. They got t-shirts, they got socks, they got boxers. But Steve, man-made boxers, when Milan is playing this way, you can't get better than that, can you?
No, very good brand. Shout out to the guys at manmadebrand.com. Check out their website. Put in Milan Weekly Podcast referred, and they're going to sprinkle some love for your package. Guys, support local if you're in Montreal. If you're not in Montreal, start ordering. Let's go, guys. Get on the Man-Made brand train. Let's go.
And they did strike a deal there on Dragons Den, so check them out. Milan fans as well. Steve, do you want to go through Patreon questions first? Do you want to go through Serie? You call your shot, buddy.
Whatever you want. Let's go.
Let's go. You know what? Let's do Serie. I know you got the soundboard ready. Empoli Monza. Do you want to talk about this game? Because I did not watch this game.
I did not. It was a 6:30 game, but I was able to watch a bit of the highlights. Sleeper on top of sleeper at 6:30, the espresso match of the day. Thank God we didn't wake up for it. I'm sorry, Serie, but that was a tough one.
Definitely was. Torino Juventus was another one that was like
shit of the shit. Shit of the shit. Juventus fans all over the world, be afraid. Be very afraid. Guys, this is a big problem. Again, I want to shout out. Oh my God. You continue going on this. I need to give someone a shout out because this was fantastic.
Tell me.
Let me go here. Hold on a second.
What do you got there, Steve?
Yeah. I need to go to.
Oh, you're searching for stuff on your brand new phone that I got.
So I'm gonna give a shout out to Milanista_Paulo, who brought back. He brought back and around the Serie A from November of last year, where I predicted Juventus problems, guys. Oh. And of course, I want to shout it out because he sent it to us via direct message. Then he sent me the link and I shared that again. So shout out to him. Guys, this Juventus is terrible to watch. It is anti-football 101.
The only one because Torino sucks even more, right, Steve?
I don't even think Torino sucks. Torino, it's their fault of their own, almost like Milan. They knew they were losing Belotti. That's no excuse, absolutely no excuse for Torino not to go sign a striker. Because I think Torino outplayed Juventus in this derby. And the only thing that kept the score the way it is that Torino doesn't have a striker to finish.
Okay. I did watch a little bit of this game and, would like to make fun, but Steve, Juventus needed these 3 points and they got them, but nothing to just, you know what? Let's put it this way. Who had the worst 3 points? Milan or Juve?
Oh, no. It's hands down. It's Juve. It's Milan because we're critical of Milan and we're the champions. So we have to be extra critical on Milan because if you want to A, repeat, you got to pick up your game. B, we have a project and Juventus don't. So Juventus's 3 points is just something that, you go through during one of these, very tough spirals that Juventus is in, and they cannot get out of the spiral. Nothing is working with them. There's misplaced passes in the midfield. Locatelli looks like he doesn't understand how to play soccer anymore.
I had my thoughts about Locatelli last podcast, but carry on.
The defense is in shambles, completely lost. I think Szczesny keeps them in the game quite a bit and doesn't get enough credit. And up top, they're not getting service. And Vlahovic is a bit surprising because at Fiorentina, watching Vlahovic, he was able to create much more on his own. Right now with Juventus, he's not able to create on his own.
Steve.
And he's not getting any chances in terms of
Pogba's coming back. Chiesa's coming back. You think that's going to make a big difference for Juve?
I think it's going to change them a bit. I think they need to stay healthy.
But not overnight.
But this will not be an overnight fix. and Vlahovic needs to work, because in the Champions League he did not work, and against Torino, at least he put in some sort of effort.
Is Atalanta for real, Steve? Are they for real? Like we're going to talk about how we didn't see Atalanta there. We didn't see Napoli at the beginning of the season. We're eating our own words. I know it's 10 games. There's a couple of questions about the 10 games in, but I did watch this game. Atalanta's getting it done, Steve.
Just
Do you
get
have
it done, but there's problems. There's problems to come there too. Everybody's gonna roll around on the injury bug. They've actually had some injuries. I can't say that they have not had the injury bug, but they've kept themselves in it by winning games like this against Sassuolo. Again, how long will it last? I don't know, but Atalanta has started fast other season. I want to see if they're able to stay in the marathon, even though they're winning the sprint.
We always like to do 10 games in, maybe halfway throughout the season. Steve, Inter è ritornato. Hanno vinto con il Salernitana. Great goal by Barella. I was watching this game, but there was no surprise in this score. Inter 2-0 against Salernitana.
No. They coming off a good win against a good tie against Barcelona. Seems like they're going to qualify for the next round of Champions League, barring some collapse. But
we shall see.
I think they took care of business against Salernitana and concentrate on their next match.
Steve, can I say a really entertaining 0-0 match? Lazio Udinese. I watched it from beginning to end, and I was pleasantly entertained with this match. I don't know if you watched it. Did you share the same sentiments as me?
Yeah, I think it was really good. I think both teams were going for it. They wanted to win. Lazio's a little bit in trouble. They're going to be missing Immobile for quite some time. Udine just keeps on collecting points. So another surprise team. I think the biggest surprise. No disrespect to Napoli, and I know we were very critical on Napoli at the beginning of the year.
We were.
But Udine is the surprise team after 10 matches, for sure. Only
team to beat them is us, right? But good for them. We'll see. Like, what did Sarri say? Is like, "Se il campo no cambia, mia he wants the field to change." Sarri. We shall see. Spezia Cremonese. I did not watch this game, Steve. Okay. Napoli is getting it done, Steve. It looked like, okay, are they gonna skip a beat on this one? Bologna, coming back 1-1, coming back 2-2, and in the end, Napoli gets it done. Are these the kind of games that not that they didn't play like bad compared, let's say, to Milan, but they got the 3 points. And I keep on thinking in 6 months from now, people are going to look back at match day 10. They're going to see Milan 2, Verona 1, Napoli 3, Bologna 2. And they're not going to think about the performance of these teams. But Napoli 10 games in, they're making you see their words right now. They are. But
I don't know. They are. And again, the difference between Napoli and Milan was Napoli was in control, even though it was 3-2.
That's
true. The only reason why Bologna got back in this match is because Mere gave them an early Christmas gift. That's the only reason that Bologna was back in this game.
But the ball is round, right? But anyways, Bologna losing this game here. So we were expecting a win from Napoli. It happened. Steve, Campione d'Agosto, your team, Roma, with a penalty win, 1-0 over Sampdoria. Anything to be proud about this game? They got 3 points.
I watched this game. They got 3 points. It's Mourinho and Stankovic, emotional, all teary-eyed at the beginning. Sampdoria's pitch was absolutely terrible today. Disgrace that you're the feature match, or you're the 12 o'clock match for us here in North America for who could watch it on a Monday. Terrible scheduling. Again, Roma is such a strange team, especially when you watch them. Now no Dybala. I think Tammy Abraham, to be fair to everybody, has to be the most disappointing after the first 10 match days. I think he's very sloppy up top. I probably have, no joke here, I'm being very serious. My first touch on Sunday evenings in our little garage league, my first touch is better than Tammy Abraham's first touch.
You heard it here first, folks. Stevie P's
And
first touch is better than Tammy Abraham.
Zaniolo has mental issues.
Why you say that?
I just think that he has too much. I don't know, built up aggression. Can we call it built up aggression? Or he's thinking too much. He's overthinking things, and he's picking up foolish yellow cards for no reason today.
Yes.
He absolutely botched a breakaway where the only thing he had to do was stay on his side of the half, and he had a beautiful big breakaway, screwing up an assist for Karlsdorf, my Fantacalcio defender who came in. I think Zaniolo has to... when I saw the headline that Mourinho decided to bench him, and then he comes in and he pulls a scene like that, I don't know how much longer Zaniolo will be at Roma.
We shall see. Lecce Fiorentina 1-1 prime time, Steve. Monday night game in Italy. Lecce Fiorentina 1-1. Looking at these standings, looking from 6th spot to 1st spot, there's 5 points of difference. Inter still in 7 at 18. Juventus 16. Verona, Cremonese, I think that's what hurt the most, is that Verona at 5 points gave us such a hard time. But you know what? Let's go to the Snake Francis's question. Now that we have a sample of 10 games played in the Champions League for Milan over the last 2 years, how would you explain the fact that they have been unable to control games or play these games on their terms? Looking at these stats here, Francis, he likes to poke the bear, but legitimate question, is it not, Steve?
Yeah. In the Champions League, we all know it's a different animal, guys. It's just, it comes up to, I hate saying this, but it's the quality of the opponents that we play in Serie A compared to the quality of opponents that we play in Champions League. There's just a big drop. And Milan, the Milans, the Inters, the Napolis, the Romas, you see that we can dictate our own play. We can dictate our own game, even when we play each other, because of the quality of the team that we're fielding and the depth that you're seeing. You look at a game like this past weekend, whoever had the chance to watch Man City and Liverpool and see who they can bring up off the bench.
If we were playing a team of that caliber, Steve, the way we played against Verona, we would have got destroyed.
Oh, yeah. And we saw it against Chelsea, And again, if you talk to someone in the Premiership and someone who watches Premiership more than I do, and I've seen some Chelsea games, they're not fantastic. But they have quality, and they run. They play a similar style of play that Milan does, where they do like to control the ball a bit, but they like to use their athleticism. We like to focus on Theo Hernandez being an athlete, Leao being an athlete, everybody running over and over and over and over again. That once you get paired up against a team that runs just as much as you, then it's quality. And unfortunately, that's where we lack. Yes, we have some injuries. It's not an excuse. For Champions League, I think the biggest regret that we'll have is if we don't qualify for the next round of Champions League, is not having somewhat of an impactful super sub or substitute to help Giroud or play alongside Giroud and score some goals.
I agree with you. I wouldn't say, because of the injuries. I'm gonna blame it on the depth of the team. Shane saying, statement, then Tonali got the winner, but Benacer completely changed the game when he came on. Question, Hashtag Origi out and a young striker and a young right wing for the January window is my preference. Who would you chaps think is an ideal profile for both positions? Fact. Hashtag Krunic for Ballon d'Or 2023. This is kind of the running joke in the Patreon group chat. But Steve, do you even have a thought of, saying Origi out? You know what? I don't think we've seen enough of Origi. I don't think he played bad in this last game. I think maybe his salary of $4 million a year and the fact that we didn't see him a lot. But Shane, our friend an Irishman from Kenya, an Irishman living in Kenya, we're not buying anybody in the winter market, Steve. So thinking about a right wing, and the way they experienced it, was Rebic playing on the right wing at one point? Was it Origi playing on the right wing? We're not buying anybody, are we, Steve?
No, I don't think we will. No. We will invest in the January transfer. And January, of course, by default, is probably one of the most difficult ones to navigate and try to get someone on your team and try to get him ready for your team. I think they need to look past January, stay healthy, try to work some miracles, grind out games like we did. I know, guys, we're complaining about a 2-1 victory, but if we want to take that next level step in quality and not have games like we saw against Chelsea, guys, this is the purchases that we're gonna have to buy, guys. Yeah, Fuji's and Fanyan hits it right on the head. No more Mandzukic gambles. The Giroud one did come out. It was a good gamble. Origi, I'm being very critical because I really didn't like Milan's performance over the weekend. I found he just looked lost and he needs game time. He needs game minutes.
I found he looked better than the first times we've seen him.
He needs to find his legs.
Derek says, at what point in the transfer window do you modify the strategy? You have players like Leao who will most likely have 3-year window with what? Why not sprinkle in some ready players? Dr. Derek, I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like it's the Milan plan to get some ready players. It just looks we're
Derek wanted Belotti, and Belotti went to Roma. And if Derek watched today's game, we saw Belotti miss another chance and get subbed off.
Dr. Derek, you're getting.
I like Belotti too, Derek. So I'm not being a Monday morning quarterback. I just don't think those players are the ones that they're looking for.
I just think that the guy, the Vortex, the Dests, the Malik Chow kind of players, that's the kind of players we're gonna get and just hope for the best, and maybe we're gonna get a gem like Koludu. I don't see us getting like players that are like proven players, like Jamie's saying Hazard down loan in January for right.
But again, at a certain point, I agree though you cannot continue to gamble with these kids.
You're gonna have to change it up.
You have to mold in some players who have some Champions League experience and who have some other traits that we're looking for. Can't be a rinse and repeat. You're not gonna hit a Kalulu all the time, and you're not gonna sign a Piatek all the time, right? So let's go.
Gio says, keep up the great work, guys. Will this team ever play a game that will not give us high blood pressure? Everyone, please like and video and subscribe. Gio always gives me a hard time. Guys, I'm going to say it now. Please like the video, subscribe. Milan Coast to Coast, Gio and Fabio. By the way, Gio and Fabio, I think we're going to have enough Patreon money to purchase you some nice microphones like these ones here. We're making that money. President is gonna splash the cash. But I love Gio. Never has a question like how many games blood pressure. Gio, there's always gonna be blood pressure and stress, right, Steve?
Doesn't have to be, and I agree with him. These games like this against the Verona,
unnecessary pressure, you call it, Steve.
Yeah, but the games like this should not be pressure packed. We should be taking care of business. And we should be getting, players like Mau Chow, Dest, some minutes in a game. At 2-0, with Giroud burying that chance, I think we have the game open to score maybe another one, and then manage the game even more. This Milan performance, we did not manage at all. We got very lucky.
We definitely did. And what do we have here on Gigi La Patat saying, after 10 games, what are your tops and flops, overachievers and underachievers? How about an overachiever, Steve, in the first 10 games? Would you say Diaz is an overachiever from what we've seen in the second half of the first of last season?
No, I don't think it's enough for 10 games to start picking who. No,
How about, okay,
overachiever.
it will be easier to pick an underachiever that we would expect big things after 10 games? No?
You can. I just don't think that 10 games is enough. There's a lot of stuff going on at Milan where, there's a lot of injuries and people uh, having to do things like they don't. I agree, Jamie. CDK has been a little bit underwhelming. Not. I think we expected more. I think we should. We can't always say, "Oh, but he's young. Let's give him time."
But we gave Leao 2 years, Steve. You gave Leao
We
2
did, but we
years.
also told you when it was. We need more. When we need more from CDK. The difference
What?
between Leao and CDK, which I said it before, is that CDK came from Champions League. He has already played in Champions League. He's already won. Yes, it was in Belgium, but hey, it's enough with the young tank. Your $30 million price to come here. It's time to, after 10 games, he's an underachiever.
I'm going to go with, I don't like to say overachiever, but Steve, our best player so far for me has to be Benacer. From day one, he's put in the performances. He's been great. He had that maybe one bad performance against Chelsea, but Benacer for me, even the way he changed the game when he came on, I would have to say Benacer for me. But yeah, it is hard after 10 games because we always said throughout the podcast, we like to judge after 10 games at at half season, which will happen in about a month from now because it's the
Yeah.
World Cup. But we'll like to see. And that was it for Patreon questions and Twitter questions. Steve, how did you do in your Fantacalcio this week? Because if I'm looking here, right, if you look at, hold on, let me get rid of these banners. Some people are doing pretty good. Justin Canavino from Milan Club Montreal is there in second place, right? Where are you, Steve? Would I have to scroll down or
I'm dropping. Not going well for me.
now? Look at Husney, the Krunic All Stars, fellow Patreon member, 764 points. Steve, look at Vinny Gattuso, the Romanista. He's right there. SerieFantasyGuys.com. We will try to get some prizes out for the Campione d'Inverno, right, Steve? Your favorite kind of champions, the Campione d'Inverno. But it kind of fun. So you didn't do good this week?
No, I have not been going good. The players have not been achieving. I had to make some changes. I had to get some points deducted. So no good for me.
No good for you. So looking, you see anybody that you recognize here? We do have over 300 members, and Edwin Ortega, Timmy Pinky and the Bruin, 36 spots. Sorry, but congratulations to so far. Fami as now we in first place with 814 points. We shall see where that leads. Steve, are you ready for busted tweets? Before we get into busted tweets, let's do our indigestion. Do you think of an indigestion, a brioschi of the week this week?
Brioski is kind of tough there. I would give it to Chow, coming in and getting some minutes and making some impactful.
You're pronouncing it
challenges.
right, Steve.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going.
Indigestion is Milan. I'm really disappointed with that performance. I know we got the points, but unfortunately, guys, that's not good enough for me.
It's funny that you picked Chow just like me. Like what saved the great blocks. For me, it was definitely my brioche of the week. Indigestion. this Milan just doesn't make any sense. I was like, how do you go from, a performance like last week against Juve to now? So we're on the same wavelength. Steve, we're cutting it short this week. You know what? Are you ready for busted tweets?
Let's go.
All right. What do we have? Busted tweets this week, Stevie P. Jan, our intern, he couldn't make it tonight, but he sent us the busted tweets. What do we have under door number 1? At Napoli Sansone, Kvara is Mbappe level prospect. Let me read that. Hold on a second. Hold on. Double K is an Mbappe level prospect. I don't know what to say to this, Steve.
I don't really find it that busted.
Is Mbappe level prospect?
I think Mbappe has struggled at PSG.
No. Hold on a second. Talking about Mbappe the first couple of years that he played at PSG. You're going to compare him to Mbappe?
Look, I don't find it that bad, actually.
Okay.
I think KK is a big surprise. I think people, and again, I know this is a tweet to try to troll people, but if you really look at it, if KK was from Brazil, would he be an Mbappe level prospect? I bet you $100 million. Yes.
No. You can't
Why?
compare. You can't compare to what his feats of Mbappe was when he was starting for PSG. We're talking about 5 years ago.
Why not? Give me a reason why. If KK is from Brazil and he's Kekequinho, it's because he's from Georgia. He's little known.
Because of what? Serie doesn't have the
No,
publicity?
I'm just saying you have to take it for what it is, right? It's Mbappe played at Monaco for who knows how long, and again, we always say the French league is the farmers' league.
Jamie, I spoke to this with the Milan Club Montreal members. Jamie, what was he gonna come and do at Milan? Play behind Leao?
No, you find a place for players like that. Jamie's 100% right. If you identify,
he's a left wing, is he not?
No, I think he could play all over the park.
All right.
If you identify talent, you purchase.
Okay. Tweet number 2. Attention, all Inter, Milan, possibly Napoli fans. Enjoy the glory show because it's curtains if this guy comes back.
There you go. That's a busted tweet.
Antonio Conte. So how's he gonna beat everybody? Antonio Conte joining who? Atalanta? Who's he gonna go join? This is pretty busted. Like he did his proofs in Italy, and so basically all the teams in Italy are shit. But if Antonio Conte was directing the traffic, they would be number 1, right?
Look, it's busted because this gentleman Luca should know that he's not coming back to Serie A because he's used to the budget and the free spending of the EPL, and he'll never be able to get that.
He doesn't want to go into a $100 restaurant and order a $10 meal. Remember that? That line when you're saying about Juventus? Okay, so this one so far, Luca. Number 3. A piece on Fikayo Tomori's struggles against Chelsea and England's problems in defense. It feels like Tomori has played himself out of the World Cup squad, but injury concerns aren't helping Southgate.
This is his winner. This is the winner. This person absolutely never saw Tomori play, and this person fails to understand that even when they called
Harry
Tomori,
Maguire.
they called Tomori to the national team, Harry Maguire plays and Tomori sits. And I have to tell you guys, I didn't have a chance there, but there's some great people that have some serious talent with these Harry Maguire TikTok, compilations where he comes in and everybody's making a face like as if the Antichrist.
I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad.
Not at all. Zero. I don't feel bad. This is what it is. This is why you get paid the big bucks. At a certain point, you need to be able to You need to be able to adapt yourself to where you are. Unfortunately, Manchester United's jersey just weighs way too much for him. The England jersey weighs way too much for him. And this year would be my winner for the Busted Calcio tweet, because I think England needs someone like Tomori who could, yes, is he the best defender in the world? No. Does he have the best technique? No. What he
Is he better
has
than
is
Maguire?
absolute speed and ability to recover when a mistake is made.
And being able to defend in the Farmers League, right, Steve? He's
Yeah.
able to defend in the Farmers League. Does Napoli have a better squad than Juve? Joey Cappuccino. No, they are just coached better. I'm trying to understand this tweet, Steve. So he's saying that Napoli is not better than Juve. Is that they're just so he's putting Spalletti over Allegri. Explain to me this tweet. I don't get it. I don't get what he's trying to explain here.
Unfortunately, Juve fans, we're kind of similar with Milan, Inter fans, Napoli fans. We're all similar. We always want to show that our food is the best. We're like, Italians love to say that our food is the best, and we cannot anticipate someone having better food than we do, right? So even if, let's say, if we're having sushi tonight, if an Italian's making sushi, it's the best sushi in the world, even though there's a Japanese person who's been making sushi his whole life.
Steve, what would you put in an Italian sushi? I'm just curious. Let's say you're preparing sushi for your beloved wife and the kids. What's in your Italian?
But Joe Cappuccino there has to figure out that just unfortunately Juve is in a very bad spiral with some terrible players, and Napoli, are they world beaters? No. But they have a squad that fits and ticks off all the boxes that they need to compete, especially in Serie A and in Champions League. And in Champions League, surprisingly, with ease. So, again, coached better? Yeah, maybe. But I think, better Allegri, because of his very high salary and, unfortunately, his soccer philosophy seems to have been, forgotten, especially after taking a sabbatical.
Speaking of food, Steve. No, that's on the next one. At Aziz, no, you missed the point. I don't need to prove Allegri out. Everyone sees it now. I'm also not saying Napoli have a worse team, but they absolutely have a better team. But in my own opinions, in terms of raw individual on paper, Juve were better. How are Juve were better on paper? Again, these games are being played on paper. That Juve.
That's when you see the Vlahovic, the Pogbas, and the Chiesas, and the Di Marias. That's the paper that they're taking.
So this one maybe not that busted, but Allegri out, that's going to work. Steve, please explain to me what the hell this is. You're talking about food. Yeah. Hot dog at Manchester United, 4.8 English pounds, which is about $10 Canadian. What in the fuck is this?
This is a disgrace. First of all, I don't even know who cooked that bread, but the inside is brown for how roasted.
Where's the hot dog?
It's somewhere inside that pit of disgustingness that they're selling in that stadium. For $10, guys, you get a fantastic chuchi sub at Chocharo's, which I would bet my house that it's 100 times better than this sorry sake of a hot dog.
It looks like I'm sorry, Steve.
But
you know what? Not to the guy that tweeted
English
this.
People eat bad. They just eat
what
bad.
Is
They're
this?
Not used to eating.
Please, to our English viewers and listeners, explain to us what the fuck this is. Where's the hot dog? Where's the dressing? Some onions, some mustard, ketchup. This is like najabata with a I don't know what the hell this is. Steve, I'm sorry. This as to be winner of the Busted Calcio picture. Not to the guy that tweeted it.
No.
Him is okay. But to Manchester United, like, what is that?
Yeah, someone has to send this to Manchester United. We're gonna find the Manchester United podcast and send them this alongside a picture of our beloved Chuchi burger or Chuchi sub from Chocharos, and just compare the prices: $10 Canadian to $4.80 English pounds. This is what you get in Canada. This is what you get in England. Guys, come on, this is ridiculous. You might as well have steamies. You can't fuck up the steamy. Just steam the goddamn fucking bun and the hot dog, and you got yourself a steamy. This is disgustingness.
Steve, I'm gonna have to vote for this one here because this is completely unreal. If we go back to the first ones, we have the double K Mbappe level prospect. We have watch out because Conte is coming back. Tomori is no good. We have they're just coached better. Missing on paper. No, I'm sorry, Steve. This has to take the cake.
Yeah, that one's ugly. It doesn't fall in our Busted Calcio tweets. It's not a tweet.
Let's just go by this is cringe. This is cringy. Yeah. So would you say I gotta go with this one here?
Yeah,
because they don't watch Serie A, and they're just like, you know what? Let's go with Maguire. Maguire's so much better. Against Chelsea, it feels like Tomori has played himself out of the work. So after a couple of games, it's like he played himself. He played himself out. I'm gonna vote for this one. How about you, Steve?
Yeah. Jakob Steinberg.
Yeah. On this one here. So, guys, thank you so very much for always joining us every single Monday. Don't forget, subscribe, like. This Wednesday, Fabio and Gio, coast to coast, they will be there. Thank you for Presidente to always making us our thumbnails. Stevie P, Saturday Monza. Next following, I believe it's going to be on the Wednesday against at Dinamo Zagreb. Ain't going to be an easy game. What say you, man? How you feeling before we stop for November for the World Cup?
I would like them to pick up 6 points, and I think they will. I think they're gonna make the turn. I think the Monza game, hopefully, they do take care of business very quickly, and then start focusing on Dinamo Zagreb. I hope they do not overlook Monza and drop points.
No.
So because if you look at the standings, that game against Sassuolo, if you add 2 extra points, we're right up there again. And I'm not saying the loss against Napoli. I think both teams played well, and Napoli ended up scoring
23 points out of a possible 30. Steve, can't. We can't say we're disappointed in that.
No. Again, the only one that sticks a little bit is it stings a little bit is the Sassuolo game. I think we didn't come out for that one, and we barely got a draw. Besides that, guys, can we really complain? No. But will we complain? Absolutely.
The fact that we're champions of Italy, always going to complain. We're going to call it as it is, right? People might see the 3-0 win, the 3 points win yesterday, but we're going to call a spade. Guys, we don't care that some channels get fucking 15,000 views and controversial. We get 500, we get 1,000. We get 700. We all do our Patreon therapy session. We got coast to coast. We don't care. You know what? Very proud to say we have newly 58 Patreon members that support us. Thank you so very much. We will be announcing to you guys very soon what we're going to be doing with all your contributions. This is like kind of a therapy session for Stevie P and I. And thank you for always watching. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We appreciate you guys a lot. And we're not going to start being controversial because we want to get clicks and we're going to get likes. Just spread the word, guys. Just spread the word. Shane, you're meeting some people from the Kenyan TV shows there and said, yeah, Shane, give us a plug, right? You said we're going to talk to them. This is all about the English-speaking Milan community. Whether it goes to an event like New York did, Steve, a couple of weeks ago, to us doing this podcast, to us reaching look at you with the Boston scarf, a guy that like Mark and the rest of the millions of Boston, that we would embrace like brothers, and we never met face to face. That's what it's all about. The Milan love.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Any closing statements, Steve? Let's
wrap it up.
Guys,
Monday Night Football
ovunque e sempre. We will see each other next week.
Forza Milan. Forza Milan.
Ciao.